Hey guys, welcome back to Resin Bell. I am going to be working with the stencil from Roycycled Treasures. This one is the Apothecary Shop. It says elixirs, tonics, balms, and potions, and it's a fairly large piece, so it's awesome for doing like furniture and all kinds of stuff like that. So I was on their first ever design team, and we are challenging their new design team to a face-off using the new stencils from the Roycycled line. Alright, let's get into this. So I'm making a drying rack, and I think this little Apothecary Shop stencil is going to be perfect for that. So I'm going to open this up and we'll get started. Alright, so I'm going to be using this with some chalk paint, and we're going to be painting that on, but I'm going to kind of mix up the way it's shaped because of the string that has to go across here. It'll be a little bit too low, and I don't want my string to go in front of my words, so I want to get use of all of the elements on this stencil. So I'm just going to be using it to fit and changing up its format, basically. Yes, so something like that. And then I can tape this down. Alright, so I'm just going to get a little bit of chalk paint on my brush and wipe off the excess because I don't want to flood this. I'm going to dab it on some paper towels, and I'm just going to stipple that onto the stencil. Just lightly. Add a little bit more to my brush. Dab it. And the key to this is working in the small areas and having almost no paint on your brush. If you have too much paint and you don't dab it, it can seep under the edges of your stencil and cause a muddy stencil. So there we have our apothecary. Look how cool! I love this stencil. It is so cool. Okay, I'm going to let that dry thoroughly, and then I'll move on to moving my stencil down and doing the apothecary part. So I'm just repeating the steps I used in the first part. Just getting a little bit of paint on my brush, dabbing it off so that it doesn't seep under the edges, and so we can get a nice clean stencil. Okay, so let's peel that off. Okay, thinking that's looking pretty darn cool. So the last thing I'm going to do is, I might end up putting, yes, I think I'm going to put these flowers in the corners at the top, and then I'm going to move this line. I'm going to put 2 words up here and 2 words up here. So it'll all still be on there, but it won't interfere and be covered up by the cord. So it's a good way to, you could use pieces of the stencil, you can use the whole stencil as it is, you can really use it in any way to fit your project. Alright, let's see what that looks like. Alright. I like how it's turning out so far. I love those flowers in the corners. All right, I like it. Very cool. Okay, so now I think I want to add the bottom line of the stencil just to kind of draw in and kind of complete the bottom area, and then I can put my rope on. Alright, so I'm just going to use some of this rope that I got from the Dollar Tree and run it across here. And it does help when you're cutting that to wrap a piece of tape around it so that it doesn't unravel, and then you cut your two pieces in half through the center of that. You basically end up with kind of like a shoelace. And just run that through the back and kind of do it a little bit snug, because over time this will sag and I don't want it to sag too much, but then I can use that to place herbs and flowers, and I can put a little hook or I can tie them to that, and I think that's going to look really cute. And I decided I'm going to use some of this same rope to create a little tie there, so that's going to work out pretty cool. So I'm just going to staple this on and we'll have our finished project. Okay, so now I have finished up my sign. I just added this rope to the top and I forgot to hit record, so I'll kind of show you with these two strips here. So you have a hole in your board and you run your cord through. This would represent this coming around, so this is the hole in the board. You take another piece, and I just untwined the rope to get the smaller pieces. So you've got your two ends here and your board through. So I start by putting this through the center between, just to hold it. Then I wrap it once over the bottom and then to the top. And then on the inside, I place a bead of hot glue right there. So and then I start wrapping and wrapping until I get to the end. And then I put a little bead of glue in between, and I run the end between. Now once the hot glue has set up, then I can cut off any excess of the full-size rope. I can cut off the excess pieces hanging out, and I can cut off the excess of this piece here. And then we get something that looks like that. Just a nice rustic way to add your rope. So I am going to add some flowers and we'll hang this up. So it's a little dark in the house, so I thought I'd bring it out here and show you. And I have some great place to hang flowers, so I can hang them upside down. And these were hung upside down to dry, and you can see they kept most of their color, and you can dry your flowers pretty easily that way. So I will leave a link in the description box to the Roycycled website, and you can find their items through independent sellers, and I usually find mine through sellers on Etsy, but you can find all that information through their website. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.